Welcome to another great conversation with a wonderful CEO from Arkansas, who is the CEO of Explainify. And remember, wherever there's a will, there's a way. And what we're talking about is how to make it a great life for every employee in the company. So, welcome, Eric Hinson.
Thanks, Will. Pleasure to be here.
So, Eric, tell us a little bit about Explainify.
Yeah, so I like to say businesses have something to say, but it never really comes out right. And so their messaging is usually complex or it's covered in jargon. And so what we do is create compelling animated videos that explain things so that it's really easy to understand, for your audience to understand, and for them to engage in your business or product. We focus primarily on enterprise technology, software, medical, and healthcare.
So, how long have you been in business?
10 years now. My wife and I started it at our kitchen table 10 years ago this January. So 10 years in a couple months.
So how has EOS, taking on EOS as an operating system for your company, what was it like before and what is it like now?
You know, it was a whole new experience getting into business. That was my first venture. It was chaotic. It was unstructured. We had done pretty well. We kind of entered a blue ocean market with explainer videos being the fifth to market in this niche. But we kind of hit a ceiling on growth at a certain point after the blue ocean started to dry up a little bit and it became a more commodity market. So we hit this ceiling and I ultimately became tired of running daily operations. It had been 9 or so years and we brought you in and we've been through so many ups and downs and there's just a lot of growing pains involved when you expand and you expand as quickly as we did. And if I'm honest, I didn't know how to break through and grow properly. I really developed my leadership abilities, working with leadership coaches and a number of things like that. I care a lot about the people, but I always struggled with the what, the how it gets done, the how it gets managed. And so, I was bought into EOS. I had read Traction. I kind of hacked it together, created an EOS Lite version, and it was really a bad idea. And I couldn't get other people in on the vision, not the vision of the company, but the vision of EOS. I couldn't explain it because I had messed it up so much that it wasn't recognizable. And honestly, I didn't have necessarily the right people in the right seats. And most importantly, didn't have an integrator, someone that could understand that role specifically and my vision and take it and take it to the moon. So that was the big thing. I think I clearly knew what I wanted inside, but like most visionaries, it was in my head. I couldn't simplify it. I couldn't get it organized on one sheet, and it was a little bit of a struggle.
So what would you say about how business is running now?
It's running great. Within the first quarter of working with you, we started to build a leadership team out. We brought in an integrator and a head of production just after that first quarter meeting. And so it's gotten us all on the same page. We're kind of rowing in the same direction. It really, going back to that clarity and organizing of the vision, I had 20-something documents. I'm a fact finder. I like to do a lot of research. I like to dig in. I like to have a lot of documents. I like to have a lot of versions of things just in case I want to go back. It's ridiculous. So I had 20 plus documents of vision and goals and all this, and it simplified it to one page with the VTO. It's brought a lot of order and structure to the hundreds of challenges that we have day to day. It's a lot more manageable. I'm not doing the day-to-day management anymore. I do have a great integrator that's doing that. But even then, I've been in that seat for a long time, and I know that those challenges and everybody coming at you, it's hard to keep people accountable. It's hard to keep that structure without the system. And so EOS has been that system for us.
Well, that's super. That's super. So,
Yeah.
Tell me how has the EOS life impacted you?
In a number of ways. I have 3 kids under 5, 5, 3, and 1. So it's crazy at home. My wife has noticed my sanity come back to me. I've been reinvigorated. I'm playing with my kids. We fly RC airplanes or drive trucks around. Not full-size ones most of the time. It's usually just an RC one. But really intentional time with my kids, riding dirt bikes with my friends. I get to read books and do different hobbies that I enjoy. But it's been great to just have my company sort of a self-managing company, one that kind of runs on its own. I get to be involved as much or as little as I want, and it's just an exciting thing to watch it grow and not my hands all over it like it used to be.
So you're only doing things that you love doing, right?
Yeah, for the most part, I am. I'm at the high level. Yes, I am. I'm starting a new company, and with that, you start to, with cash strapped startup, you do some things that you don't want to necessarily do in the end, but you're doing them for the greater good. And so, at a high level, yes, I am getting to do the things that I want. I'm getting to not focus on Explainify as much and focus on the new entity, which needs my attention more than Explainify needs me at the moment.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. And you're working with people that you love.
Yes. Yes, the team is amazing. We've got a great leadership team. We've got a great potential leadership candidates coming up as well. Some great team leaders running the team. We've grown the team dramatically through this EOS process, getting the understanding of the right people, right seats, putting them in there, and that's been wonderful. And yeah, every day it's they all match our core values. They all pass our thorough onboarding and job application process and review. And you get great people and the right people. You get them in the right seats, and yeah, you get to love them. It's awesome.
Wow. Well, and now, how do you see that you're making a great contribution? How are you making the world a better place?
A number of things. I mean, our purpose is to be a workplace where people and ideas flourish. And I think of people as human beings first, then human doings. And so I've always approached, people from the development of the whole self. I want to motivate people to self-improvement and inspire them that a small business can be a tool for personal growth. And there's a world bigger than just being an employee. And so first and foremost, it's that Explainifam. They're team members. They're not employees. They're our family. We call it the Explainifam out of Explainify, which obviously makes sense. So that's been a big piece of it. And then it's just a very enjoyable place to work. People are trusted and loved and cared for, and we don't shy away from some of the more serious conversations and things, death in the family and these sorts of things. We try to support people through that. Something I'm really proud of, and probably never really told anybody outside of the team, is we've been able to give close to $1 million to charities that I personally believe in. We've had a lot of success, and it's just a great way to contribute.
Well, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Now, now how would you say that you are you being compensated appropriately right now?
Yes, I think so. I am being compensated, and I think our team is being compensated appropriately as well. We pay fair market comp plans. We have 401k, healthcare, all those benefits. And then the thing that's required now that we've been doing forever is really that life balance, that flexibility. We let people go to the doctor, and they've got families, and kids pop up on screens, and there's just the reality of the world that the pandemic forced on everybody, but we were kind of already living that life anyway. But yeah, kind of that sort of approach. Yeah, I think compensation is, we could always improve on it. Everybody can, but I feel like we're doing a really good job. Everybody seems pretty happy, and if they want to create more value, then and it's measurable, then they can work on that too. So yeah, we can always do more.
And how about having plenty of time left over for their other passions? How do you help them to see that business is not a full court press all the time?
Yeah, that's a hard one. I think traditionally business is a full court press thing, and the culture tells you that everybody's an asset. And so yes, they're assets, but not in the sense of the nastiness of that word. It's like they're not just a resource. They're, like I said, they're human beings, and they have lives, and everything that we do and the way that we can affect their day affects when they go home and how they interact with their partner and their kids and that sort of thing. So I think about that. But to answer your question specifically, we're very flexible with remote work. So People are exploring different projects. We have one guy that's making candles and selling them on Etsy. And that's something that's just he's interested in. We know their interests and their passions. We've got people that cook, we've got people that work on cars, we've got people that bake bread. One of my leaders is really into fountain pens and collecting those. Interesting hobby. They're pretty cool. Artwork, people that work out obsessively, that's what they're into. Like, we discuss those things in our meetings, and sometimes we even gift around them. We had one person who graduated out of our organization on really great terms. We celebrated them, and they were going to cooking school, and so we bought them a set of chef knives, stuff like that. We are aware of these passions and things. We can do better. I would love to do better, but it is sort of a scary thing transitioning from that old way to this new way. It's still, we're a work in progress.
Sure. And you said a lot of your people work remotely?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, almost everybody works remotely. Everybody can work remotely, but we have a couple people here in Northwest Arkansas that are actually here, and they like to come into the office a few days a week, but most of the time they're remote.
And now you have teams in other countries, right?
Yeah, we have teams all over the world, multiple countries that are represented, and but most of our team is in the United States.
Okay, right. So, what have been some of the most exciting parts of what you've done for companies with your videos?
Oh man, we've done so many cool things. One of my favorite ones was something I sold 7 or so years ago. General Electric, GE, the big name, came to us and said, "Hey, we want to do this video for Egypt." And we're like, "Okay, well, like, it's a project for some business or business unit in Egypt." And I found out it's actually for Egypt, the country. It was like this big, like, kingdom announcement to the whole, territory, to the president, and everybody was there, whatever the president's called there, was there, and it was a big announcement announcing this big energy deal. And we got to make a video kind of describing that and explaining that in multiple languages, and that was just a really cool one. We've done a lot of just cool technologies. I think we've made a big difference in technology. We work with the American Red Cross a lot, explain to the layperson kind of what platelets are and what sort of things there are, and help them on board when they come and feel comfortable going through the process, which could be sometimes unsettling. Same with medical. There's a lot of unsettling. When you find out you had cancer, sometimes the doctor just gives you a brochure. Well, their bedside manner's not very great most of the time, and so videos help kind of alleviate and sort of stair step you to understanding, kind of getting informed about the procedures and things that you're going to be going through.
So you are really being creative about how you communicate these important things.
Yes, communication is key in all areas of life, especially in sort of sales type interactions like these videos are used for.
So how do you see the future of video?
Well, it's going short form. I mean, everybody's attention spans are shortening for sure. So video is going short form. You're seeing it all over LinkedIn and Facebook and Snapchat and whatever else there is, those little social media platforms that the kids are using these days. And I'm not huge on personally on those platforms. I'm already becoming old and thinking about being a grandparent, which I'm way far away from. But I'm just an old soul, so I've said those kids these days. That's how I'm kind of referring to it. But yeah, it's going short form. Even any of us would recognize that just going through social. You don't have attention spans. People are going short. You're also seeing interactive videos. People that videos that people can work through. They can buy through, that sort of thing. That's some of the future of video.
So more links in a video.
Yes, links directly to the product you're seeing, or directly to a process that's being explained, or something like that. There's interactivity with the video versus just it's just a standard video you're just staring at and watching and absorbing.
What do you see about the technology around video creation?
Technology is advancing. I mean, marketing, it's most of the space we kind of live in with video and with communications, and that's all in sort of the digital marketing space. And so digital marketing is one of the fastest growing segments of anything. I feel like it's blowing up like crazy. And so, you're seeing analytics platforms. You're seeing data around videos, how long people are watching, when they're dropping off, how they're engaging with content. I mean, you're looking at this made me think of with the pandemic, we all switched to Zoom and kind of being remote, and you have all this content. You have lots and lots of content being produced, and you have lots of interactions on video. So technology is just exponentially growing. You're going to see more and more advances in the marketing space. You're going to see more and more advances in just the communication space, like Zoom and Loom. For some reason, they rhymed the companies that are sort of rivals. Vidyard, Video, Vimeo. There's a lot of technology that's being built around these kind of existing platforms, but there's also incumbents coming in and trying to take over.
Huh. Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. Well, who should be talking to you about video? What would they be feeling?
Yeah, they're feeling the need to differentiate in a crowded marketplace. They're looking at, how do we get more revenue? How do we close more deals? How do we shorten the sales cycle? How do we educate on our brand? How do we get people aware? So it's brand awareness, legitimacy, revenue generation, those sorts of things. But I like to think the core is sort of, we want to be different than our competitor. We want to look different. We want to stand out. We want people to understand what we do. Those people.
So when a company comes to you, what is the process that you use to engage them?
Yeah, so we have a trademark process called frustration-free process, and they work through the entire process, starting from the sales call, helping us to understand what it is that they do, what makes them unique in the market. We have a series of questions and stuff that we go through to get through that. And then we do a kickoff presentation, a kickoff call, where we kind of further cement the idea and understanding about what they want to accomplish. From there, we go back, and behind the scenes, we work on a script that kind of meets that objective, that mission objective. We have a script, we give it to them to review. We have a couple of rounds of feedback. We get it solid, and then from there we work on storyboards, which are just kind of hand sketched or digitally sketched, kind of almost like comic strip examples, just something frame by frame so they can see how the video will come together. Then we give a color pass on that. We do a color version of a few of those frames and make sure that they understand what the video will ultimately look like. It's not just a hand drawn, it's like, here's a full frame, what this video will look like. And then we go away for a few weeks. We put it all together. This is kind of a painstaking process. This is my background as animation, so you take thousands and thousands of layers, digital file layers in Photoshop or Illustrator or whichever platform, and you start to animate those. You start to bring those to life. You make a shoulder connect to an elbow and an elbow connect to a wrist and those sorts of things, and then you move things around, and it's painstaking. You can do about 10 seconds a day of animation, so it's pretty considerable. There are tools and rigs and stuff that make it a little bit faster these days, but when I was doing it 10 years ago, that's how we did it. That's how Explainify started. Very painful process, but then we put it all together, and we share these along the way. It's not just a, hey, give us your money and we'll come back to you in 8 weeks kind of thing. We'll share these things along the way. We'll work on it. We'll iterate it. We'll get it perfect. It'll match your message and your position and your objective perfectly. And then we put music on it to cap it off, some sound effects. And then it's about a 6 to 8 week process. We give you the final video. You use it for your website. You use it for revenue generation. You can use it for lead campaigns or landing pages or an event. And you can use it on mobile or desktop or whatever.
So tell me how you got into animation.
Yeah, so I was a video production major at Oklahoma State University, and I was running around with the camera, shooting stuff. I worked for Red Bull and a few other kind of freelance gigs shooting video, and got really into video production. Did that a lot of that and got really good at it. And then I wanted to up my skills, and so I knew I needed to do motion graphics, which is basically animation. So I started to just learn animation on my own. There's a few sites, there's YouTube videos. Actually, there's pre-YouTube. There's a few sites that hosted videos that explained how to use a program called Adobe After Effects. And so I got to learn how to use that over time. My school had it on the computers. I had to get permission to unlock it because for some reason they didn't know what it was and it was locked. I entered an editing contest that Red Bull had with Ryan Schreckler, who was a pro skateboarder at the time, and I wanted to make my video cooler, so I started learning After Effects, added a bunch of graphics and things, and ended up getting third place and free Red Bull for like 3 years. So it would just show up on my doorstep, and man, I drank a lot of Red Bull in college. It was crazy. And then I went and got a job after college. I had this great portfolio, got an amazing job at an advertising agency in Arkansas. Really fast-growing, small agency. Really surprised me that it was in Arkansas. I think it surprises a lot of people. They won Ad Agency, Small Agency of the Year, and we got to make a cool video about that using some of my animation skills. And, just they gave me the opportunity to, I said, hey, I want to go learn how to do this better. And so they gave me, I don't know, a few months to really sit down and learn it. Otherwise, I think I wouldn't have had a job because they didn't know what to do with me. So they knew they wanted to do a documentary or something around the company, but you have an agency with mostly a lot of digital developers who sit in a dark room with their hoods up and are coding, and they're very uncomfortable on camera. So I tried to shoot some interviews with them, and it was just awkward, and all my stuff was turning out not so great. And so I kind of saw the writing on the wall and said, hey, I want to learn how to do this animation. I think it could be helpful. I'm not sure where. And then people started coming to me as I educated them in the company on what I did and what I was capable of. And so I had strategy teams coming, and then I had business development teams coming, and we would end up making a video that kind of, I think the claim to fame that I had there was Sam's Club. This was 15 years ago. Sam's Club didn't have self-checkout. The iPhone was barely out, on the market. And so no one was thinking about, how do I check out in the back of the store? How do I go scan items as I go and check out, And so I got to make a video describing the future of Sam's Club 15 years ago, and now you're seeing that future right now. That company built the technology and made it happen, and we got to show board members and executives at Sam's Club how the hell we were going to pull it off and what it was going to look like. They got them excited. So we ended up winning multiple millions of dollars of deals, and I became very busy, built a video production team, and basically decided, I want to do this on my own like any good entrepreneur. Like, I could do this better and make more money. Why is my boss making all the money? And so I left and I started animating on my own, and quickly realized I wanted to do the business side more than I wanted to do the animation, and that there would always be better creative people. And so I kind of got out of that game and just focused on running the company.
A real sense of delegate and elevate, huh?
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's wonderful. So tell us a little bit about this new company that you're working on.
Yeah, thanks for asking. So it's called Parable, and what we're doing is helping capture your parents' and grandparents' stories for your family to keep forever. We're creating these beautiful mini documentaries. We've talked to so many people, whether it's a 40-year-old executive at a company or a 65, 70-year-old person that's gained a lot of wisdom and is sort of on the other end of their career, having grandkids and stuff. There's so many beautiful stories in this world. People are doing amazing things, as you know, Will. You talk to these people too. It's like there's so much wisdom that's just going to get lost if we don't capture these stories. And so, I take that as a very serious mandate to try to capture those stories. And so we're helping. We create a pretty frustration-free process to make it easy to capture those stories on video. We have chaptered video online, private pages that you can do for your families, and just a really cool, unique thing that I'm really excited about. And it plays well into, I've built a creative services company, I've built a video company, and I care deeply about people. So I put the two together, and that's kind of a passion project that I'm starting right now. And we've got a few people on board that are really excited, and it's starting to grow pretty quickly.
What are some of the great stories that you've heard people tell?
One of my favorite stories is John. I'll just call him John for now. I won't say his last name in case he doesn't want me to. A lot of this is private. So John, he was this young gun, typical entrepreneur business guy, and he's like, I'm not stopping till I get to $1 million in the bank. I'm not gonna date. I'm not gonna get married. I'm not gonna do anything. And he met this beautiful woman named Karen at a bank, and she was the teller. And he just kind of started to get into her as he's transacting, as he's giving money to her every once in a while. And he starts to he gets invited to a double date and hangs out with her and just really falls in love. And he's so intrigued by this woman and what she wants to accomplish in this world, and he hangs out with her a lot and starts to date her, and it progresses, and it's like it's about time to start popping the question or something. And so she kind of pushes him and says, hey, you like, let's get married. And he's like, I'm not getting married until I get $1 million in the bank. And this was like, he was dead set on this, and he's just telling it with all this, like, it's funny because people go back to their younger self in their mind, and they get to relive these cool moments, these cool stories. And I was like, hey, have you ever named this moment? Have you ever made this kind of an asset for your family to know this story? He's like, I don't think that family knows this story. And I said, let's flesh this out. And so anyways, he got married, and he's like, I can't believe I almost passed up this amazing thing, this amazing woman that created these amazing kids for me that now have my own, creating grandkids for me. It's like, I could have passed this up for $1 million. Like, how stupid was I? And so it's wisdom. It's these stories that are so interesting that made families and shaped people, that I think are just fascinating and need to be documented.
So what happens to the stories after you edit them?
Yeah, we edit them together. So right now we're capturing about 3 hours of footage. We're sitting down and interviewing them. We work behind this. We work previously to the actual sitting down with them. We work to help correlate. What's the word I'm looking for? Work out the story, right? We work out the story, work out the narrative of the person. What do you want to cover? Do you want to avoid more of the childhood stuff? Do you want to spend a lot of time on your grandparents? Like, figure out what you want to cover in those 3 hours. And then we sit down for 3 hours, we interview them, and the output is, once we get rid of the breaks and the pauses and the ums and ahs, it's about 2 to 2.5 hours, a documentary. And then we put pictures, childhood pictures, pictures of their kids, all that stuff, whatever correlates with the story. We put B-roll footage, family footage, whatever on top, and create this beautiful mini documentary. It's about 2 hours, 2.5 hours, and then we post it on a private, password protected page for the family. And we create an actual physical keepsake, like 3x6 poster of their life timeline. And that's a cool part of the process, is they get to go back and like really map out what their whole life looked like, and it's just a cathartic experience. People are blown away by the process of just referencing that. They start to really know more about who they are, and I just think it's a beautiful thing to pass down to their kids and grandkids, and it'll be cherished forever. And so the output is the video. It's the page that the video lives on. It's this keepsake as well, and then we do some shorter versions for people that, like I said, have attention span issues. Not everybody wants to sit around and watch it 2.5 hours, but I guarantee you they will once they pass. I guarantee you they're going to want to watch every second of that. So we give them the whole raw footage as well.
Wow. Well, and it sounds to me like this is something you really love doing.
I love it. I love it. I love the startup phase. I didn't know how much I missed the startup phase, having not been in it for so long. There's just so much rapid ideation and connecting with people and networking and, just sort of living in my unique ability a little bit more. You don't realize what you miss until you I don't know the phrase. What's the phrase? Until it's gone or something like that. But anyways, it came back to me, and it just was, it was beautiful. It's been beautiful, and I'm so happy. And Explainify is running smoothly because I have an integrator, I have a leadership team, and I'm able to focus on that right now.
So, in a sense, you could get to the place where this new venture becomes as organized as Explainify is right now, and then you would want to go on to a third one.
Yeah, that's kind of the hope. I mean, when I first started Explainify, I never thought I'd be an entrepreneur. I never thought that would happen. And then became one and loved it. And then I never thought I'd leave. And then there came a time where it kind of made sense. And with this one, I'm kind of in that early stage where I'm like, I'm never going to leave because this is so exciting. And I can't imagine not talking to these people and doing all this. But things change. I've got some of that wisdom now. I got some of those road years on my life, and kind of know, things change. So I can't say that, but yeah, I think I would like to be more of a serial entrepreneur and start more things, and maybe help other people, younger people or something, to get started. If they're afraid to start or whatever. So I don't know what's next, but right now, yeah, I'm going to be. We're already talking EOS language. We're already building it around that sort of operational model, and even with just 2 or 3 people, it's going to be built around that because it's been so helpful. And I'd like to start from the beginning rather than do it later.
Excellent. Well, if somebody wanted to talk more about Explainify, how would they get in touch with you?
Yeah, so they can email me, eric@explainify.com. Would love to chat if you looking for explainer videos to differentiate. Happy to help. If it's a parable, check out experienceparable.com. If the idea of making a beautiful documentary to capture your parents' stories or your grandparents' stories for your family to keep forever resonates with you, I'd love to talk to you about that as well. And if you're thinking of EOS or just need clarity on what to do, man, I've had a lot of people help me along my journey, and I'm happy to give back. So reach out on LinkedIn, Eric Hinson. Would love to chat and help with you.
So what would you say to companies who have not heard about EOS or are thinking about using EOS?
Do it. Don't try to do it yourself. I tried to do it myself, and I'm a pretty smart guy, but and it's a pretty simple system. It's not that difficult. But when you're in the day-to-day, when you're struggling and you're drowning, I mean, I feel like I was drowning a lot, and you don't know where to turn, you don't know what to do. There's a great system that hundreds of thousands of people have benefited from, and that company is growing extremely fast. So that's a sign of something working really well. So talk to Will or talk to me or somebody and learn about it. And it's an amazing system. It'll change your life. It really will. So just don't wait. Don't worry about the cost. Don't worry about all that. Just you can do it. Like it's gonna reap so many benefits for you. So just do it.
Well, that's great. Well, this is just another example of a great company that is doing great things, using the entrepreneurial operating system to move forward, and then freeing up people to do only what they love doing. And what a magnificent thing it is when somebody's actually freed up to use their unique ability. And with people that they love, people we share the common core values, can't help but making a huge difference in the world when our core values are there. We're doing what we love doing, and we know how to be compensated appropriately, just to bring more value to the company in order to increase the compensation that I have. And then finally taking seriously this whole idea of finding my other passions and taking care of my family and having time to do that. All of these things I think are just amazing, and I'm so glad, Eric, that you are seeing that in Explainify and now beginning to do that also with Parable.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for all your help, Will. It's been amazing.
Well, it's just one more way of recognizing where there's a will, there's a way, and EOS can help you get that every time. So thanks a lot, Eric. This has been a lot of fun.